Rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear speakers, committees, members, and respected audience, good afternoon. Have a blessed Ramadan and Eid Mubarak to you and your families. Today, you are going to witness an exceptional focus on the importance of mentoring in Toastmastering and the value of coaching. Both committees, the guiding committee for this project and the action team headed by Toastmaster Osama, spared no effort in designing an effective program with the greatly informed speakers. Our moderator, DTM Shahbaz, and the speakers are authorities and experts in Toastmaster and in coaching under the umbrella of International Coaching Federation. I need not to say much about them. Wait and see. Listen to them attentively. Squeeze them with your questions to get the best out of them. And more important, provide us with your feedback after the forum. It is important for us to get your feedback, respected audience. Enjoy the forum. Back to you, Osama.
Thank you, Toastmaster Salman. Very interesting speech. Thank you very much. Now, we have to start the meeting on time. Before that, let me talk a little bit about our moderator. He is DTM Shahbaz, DTM Distinguished Toastmaster. One of the very energetic person. I have met him before. He is always smiling. He is equipped with a lot of knowledge, and he was lecturer and course coordinator at the Bahrain Polytechnics, educator and entrepreneur. Research work was robotic and artificial intelligence. Imagine, the person who's going to conduct the meeting is expert in robotic and artificial intelligence. I hope this one will not reflect in our meeting. Led the largest district in the world in 2016, consisting of 7 countries in the Middle East, over 360 clubs. Now, he is the Region 11 advisor, Middle East and Africa. A big role to run. Wish you all the luck, DTM Shahbaz. With no further delays, I would like to hand back the control to our DTM Shahbaz.
Thank you, DTM Osama. It was wonderful to hear those kind words coming from a man that has earned a lot of respect, not just from me, but the people who know him. Today, it's a very special day. I personally, as your Region 11 advisor, when I have been performing or wearing different hats in Toastmasters, or while serving the community in many other ways, people do come to me, take advices, and sometimes I hear this question about who is your mentor? Who are you mentoring? Do you have a coach? Sometimes we also hear people saying, if the mentorship is good, the club is successful, the member is successful. I have met few members in Toastmasters who have life coaches. Some do have permanent life coaches. I mean, I know a Toastmaster who was in touch with the life coach for even single small things. I was at the airport with one of the Toastmasters at the terminal, and I saw messages on even, should I eat something from McDonald's or not? So there are people who need mentoring, who need coaches. And here is where our event chair, Dr. Salman Al Fardan, when he gave me this idea that he wants to bring up a session on mentoring with the wonderful speakers that are lined up today, I was like, let's just go for it. Let's do it. We all need mentoring. I need mentoring. So let's hear more about the session, which is revolving around mentoring and coaching. At this point, I will introduce my first speaker for the day, Mohamed Ali Shukri, a well-known figure, not just in District 20, not just in Middle East, but in the world of Toastmasters. Mohamed is the first Toastmaster from Middle East to reach the world champion of public speaking finals in 2006 in Washington, D.C., where he was titled as one of the top 10 speakers in the world. Plenary speaker in TMI Annual Convention 2017 in Vancouver, Canada. And yours truly, I had the opportunity to listen to that watch that performance. In 2019, he qualified for the TI Accredited Speaker Program, a professional trainer, consultant, and coach, helping companies and individuals to build better communication, positive cultures, and innovative performance. He's a co-active coach, a founder and CEO of Y-Access Training Solutions Company, a person we all know with great spirit, with great personality. Let's call Mohamed Ali Shukri with a virtual round of applause, and if you can do it at your end, that's even wonderful. Over to you, Mohamed.
Thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum. Such a beautiful Ramadan Friday. And what makes it more beautiful is that I have an advantage and privilege over all the forum and panel speakers today. And that advantage is I have been mentored by each single one of you, my dear friends, DTM Ali Shahbaz, DTM Ahmed Shukri, Mohamed Isa, Coach Aref Mubarak, and of course Dr. Salman Al Fardan. All of these four have been my mentors at different stages, and I'm very thankful. So I'm your student all. And so let me take you to once upon a time, more than a century ago, early in the 20th century, in Santa Ana, California, there was a teacher who discovered that his fellow colleagues and teachers who are very confident in class, conducting the classes and lessons. However, when they come to a dinner party, for example, they cannot even run a single small, short toast, a short speech, a toast. They shake, they lose the words. And he was wondering why they are good in the class, in the school, but not so good in the dinner party. They cannot even deliver that small speech called toast. So he came up with this idea, and they went underground, of course. And it's similar to our lockdown, and he invented what we know now as the Toastmasters Club. At that time, he had the teachers and he gathered them and he wanted to give them the skills. But of course, he discovered that confidence was the #1 issue. There were so many skills speaking. They have to start properly, and they have to be very structured in the speech. They have to have a value story, etc. All of that. These were this technical and skills part. But he couldn't empower them without a lot of mentorship. So let me say that in another perspective again. You have this number of people who have no idea how to improve on their speaking and expressing themselves clearly. And you have a lot of programs there. And you need to do that through feedback, evaluation, mentoring, motivation. You need to do planning, organizing. You serve them, you uplift them. You need to coach them sometimes. All of that comes under the big word of leadership. All of that is leadership, actually. And mentoring is in the heart of leadership. And that's why we know Toastmasters International as the organization where leaders are made, not speakers. Although sometimes we are called public speaking clubs, especially in Arabic. But no, it's a place where leaders are made in order to help the members reach to a goal, which is speaking confidently and communicate effectively. So there's an end and there is a means. There is the program part, which we call the skills, and there is the spirit. The skills that we want to attain at Toastmasters, there has to be a spirit to help us reach there. So the skills are all these programs, which one of them I'm holding now. This is one of the programs in the Toastmasters manuals. It's the HPL program. But you need mentors to help people reach there. So Dr. Ralph C. Smedley, more than a century ago, founded this organization which lives until now. And how do you think these things are run? How do you think I have become a speaker, or millions of others like me? It's because there were leaders in this organization helping us every bit of the way. And some of the leaders are really actually in this forum. And they have helped me reach where I am here. So again, thank you, all of you. So let me clarify one thing, the difference between mentoring and coaching, because we are having these two themes embedded right in the heart of this program. So mentoring is defined as, simply defined as staying in a long-term relationship with the mentee in order to help him or her reach his goal. So there is a definite goal. You know, as a coach also, I know you most of the time you help people, you coach the person, you don't coach the topic or the goal. And the goal is, you know, actually not the main thing. You coach the person. But in mentoring, actually, you really help the mentee reach the goal. And sometimes some of the tools are coaching. So sometimes you wear the hat of a coach with your mentee, etc. So, and mentoring in Toastmasters has to be there all over. It is there all over. Actually, you're looking at it, but you don't see it. If you see a good meeting being conducted and members able to stand for the first time and speak, and even for the 10th time they speak, it's because there were mentors behind him. Now, mentorship in Toastmasters takes two shapes. One is structured, formal, credited and logged and whatever, okay? So it's really measured and structured, okay? And systemized. I'll come to that. And there is the overall mentorship. When you mentor someone, regardless of this is being documented or not. So let me go to the systematic mentorship. You either mentor a club or a member. Clubs, when they are formed, we have mentors to help them. Imagine a club for the first time is founded, minimum 20 members, and 17 of the 20 are non-Toastmasters. Two mentors are officially assigned to them to mentor the club for its first 6 months. Imagine, for 6 months, you are mentoring that club, all its members, and especially its 7 leading officers. So you, as a mentor, help them all the way to be excellent in each and every meeting until they are really go on autopilot. So that's one form. The other official form is when you mentor a member to reach a goal in leadership. We have an HPL program, for example. There are mentors for someone who wants to do a whole project like the project we are actually part of today. So, and there are mentors to help leaders reach to their leadership positions, etc. So many. And there is the unofficial mentorship where actually my fellow club members ask me to mentor them in their speech and help them all the way. There's also the mentorship of speakers who want to go to the next level, like in the Toastmasters International competition. When I reached to Washington, D.C. Finals, do you think I did this without mentors? No, of course, there were mentors. I mean, on the top of them is Toastmaster Ahmed Shukri. I'm very blessed to have him as my first mentor. And actually, he took my hands in Toastmasters even before the competitions, and helped me a lot to become the person I am today. So all these sorts of mentorship are there. And the spirit, this is in the heart of Toastmasters program as a club or as an organization. Last thing I want to talk about is the pathways. Pathways is the new structured program of Toastmasters. There are 11 pathways. When you become a Toastmasters, you log into your website and choose one of the 11 pathways. These pathways resemble and represent the current line of businesses and professions out there outside the Toastmasters organization. So it is really in harmony and compatible with what is offered there in the job market and professional life. So if you take, for example, project management, okay, then that pathway will help you become that in your life outside Toastmasters. So one of the 11 pathways is coaching pathways, because professional coaching is already a big industry already. So so Toastmasters International understood that. I have 1 minute to go. And there is a full pathways of pathway of coaching, and pathways is a number of levels, and each level has projects. A project means you research a topic, you deliver it, and you are mentored by it. The key point I want to show is that in all 11 pathways, mentoring is a mandatory module in all 11 pathways. In other words, you have to research and talk about your experience as a mentor and understand it. So it's that important. So let me sum up by saying Toastmasters is a very holistic program which helps you reach the skills, but without the spirit of mentoring, all of this is not possible. And with that, I hand over back to you, my dear mentor, DTM Ali Shahbaz.
Thank you, our champion, Mohamed Ali Shukri. Let us give him a round of applause. That was some good information, and I'll be giving overall summary with all the 4 topics or 4 speakers a little later. Now, let's welcome our second speaker, who is Aref Al-Mubarak. His introduction. Aref is a master certified coach from ICF International Coaching Federation. International Coaching Federation. His specialty is leadership development and team coaching. Aref holds a degree in sociology and a master's degree in business management with the field of interest HR, MS in psychotherapy counseling. Wow. He is a senior consultant in Healthcare Leadership Academy. In the coaching programs, he is also an associate of CCL, that's Center of Creative Leadership. As an executive coach and leadership facilitator, Aref has converted his passion to a business and way of life. He is strongly anchored in the belief that the unfolding of one's full potential through inner evolution and self-development is nature's way and therefore inevitable. I'm seriously getting goosebumps after reading this, and I seriously want to sign up you, Aref, as my coach. Let's see what you got in your basket for us all today. Let's welcome Aref Al-Mubarak.
Thank you, Ali. Thank you so much. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum jami'an wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Kul aam wa antum bakhair. And Eid Mubarak. And thank you for the invites in this talk and in this forum. What I will be talking about today is mentoring in ICF framework in general. And what are the competencies that a mentor coach should embody? What are the qualities and what are the traits? And what kind of a framework do they have in accreditation, and who should become as a mentor? And in my second talk, I will be talking about, as coach or as somebody who can embody some of the skills of coaching, how does it help you in mentoring? So thank you, Mohamed Shukri, of identifying the distinction between the coach and between the mentor. But let me give it another perspective. So in ICF, we look at a mentor as a subject matter expert. Hence, the mentor gives an example and communicates knowledge and skills. So in this sense, the word mentor is usually refers to an old person, a person who has an experience, who are in position to be able to communicate their professional skills and business know-how and knowledge to younger candidates, which is the mentee. Now, opposed to the coach or the coaching, a coach does not have to be a subject matter expert. Now, how do we look at the coach? Is the coach adapt to the position that the client is perfectly responsible and in full possession of their means. What that means is we look at the other person as a whole, as complete, and as resourceful. So let me give you an idea to bring out more clarity in the distinction. So in the process of mentoring and coaching, now in the mentoring process is the mentor shares the expertise and offers possible solution via storytelling, via telling their experiences. Now, where coaching, a coach helps the client to find his or her own solution via questioning. Now, let me just give you an overview of how does ICF look at mentoring in general, and how do they define mentors. So the proper definition of ICF for the mentor coach is providing professional assistance in the achieving and demonstrating the level of coaching competencies, which is there is 11 competencies in coaching. Just this year, they kind of shrink them to 8, which is demanded by the desired credentialing. So I'll talk more about the desired credentialing in a minute. That's sought by the applicant, which is the mentee. Now, another important thing that ICF look at a mentor coach as a wise, trusted advisor, influencing and inspiring and excellent in core competencies, which is in the development for other coaches. Now, also they look at the mentor as a mentor that embodies and communicate equal partnership. Now, when there is an engagement, when there is a communication, that the level of equality is really, really important as somebody who embodies the mentorship in the ICF. However, there are some important core competencies that the mentor and ICF should have. And one of these competencies is partnering as a mentor coach. So I'm not here as a coach, I'm not here as a consultant, I'm here clearly in my partnership, in my engagement with you as a partner, as partnership. Another thing is mentor-coach presence, and I'll talk more about presence later on. Presence is really one of the most important competencies that a coach or a mentor should have. Multidimensional perceiving, very, very inclusive, very inclusive to all diversity. Cultivate inner coach awareness. Should have a very high awareness of self, very high awareness of the surrounding, and providing self-directed learning, which is continuous developing him or herself. Now, when it comes to qualities, there are 4 important qualities for a mentor coach. One is self-awareness. The other thing is discipline. Discipline in commitment, discipline in so many ways to the learning, to the process as well. Reciprocal and respectful respectful and honest. Honesty and respectfulness, non-judgmental, is one of those qualities that we acquire, that we really demand in the mentor. And last thing is advocate the ICF core competency. So what am I mentoring in ICF? I'm mentoring on the skills of the ICF competencies. There are some traits also. I wouldn't say these traits, actually, when you hear them out, they only should apply to the mentor coach. They should apply to each person, every one of us. But when we embody them, it will help us to be a better mentor. Some of these traits is empathy, intuition, feedback communication style. What is my style of communicating my feedback? Multi-layer of listening and perceiving is not only listening in a shallow level, multi-listening, listening with my all senses. Sensitivity, curiosity is really, really important, and reciprocity. And what do I mean by reciprocity is it's not a one-way channel. The mentor should reciprocate for whatever the mentee feeling or saying or what they're going through. And transparency. Transparency is one of the most important things as well on the traits. Now, one more thing, who can become a coach in ICF? Now, number one, who can become a coach in ICF is he has to be outstanding in their credentialing and membership with ICF. Now, the other thing is he has to have at least 3 years of experience in coaching and credentialing. And third, he has to be credentialed either in ACC, who spent 3 years, ACC, which is affiliate or associate certified coach, which is completed 100 hours, or a PCC, professional certified coach, which is completed 500 hours of coaching, MCC, Master Certified Coach, which completed 2,500. So all of these, which is the experience, is really important here to mentor another coach to get their credentialing. Now, that is mentoring framework in the ICF. Now, my other part of the talk is I really want to focus on this because this information I just told you, it's available in the ICF website and it's available to the public. But what I really want to talk to you today and add value probably, and how can we benefit from adopting some of the skills of the coach in our own mentoring today. So I'll start with a novelist, as Brazilian novelist, Paulo Coelho, what he says. He says something really beautiful, which caught my eyes, and it talks to us as coaches. And people never learn anything by being told. They have to find out for themselves. Now, just bear with me, like, let's explore what usually the mentor does. Now, the mentor are expected to have all the answers. Mentors defined which doors should we open for the mentee, which job is relevant for the mentee to apply for, which competencies mentee should have and should develop. Now, do you think in today's context, do you think this is acceptable? Now, based on my experience, I don't think it is acceptable. Now, what research has shown, it says this is an outdated view if we look at mentoring only that way. And do not think young generation, the Z generation, or the younger one, the new age, I don't think they would be satisfied with mentors who adopt this type of mentoring role today. Not at all. So between what I have just shared about the younger generation and between what Paulo Coelho said, then the question is, then do we mentor or not? And if we do mentor, how do we mentor? So I'll start with a poem. Again, I like these things, you know, saying in poems. And this poem is by Rumi. Now, what Rumi says is, there is a way between voice and presence where information flows between these. This is way information flows. In disciplined silence, it opens, information flows. with wandering talks, it closes. Now, I want to take this as a segue of the competencies that if we can embody it, or if we can adapt it, or if we can learn it, these competencies or skill of coaching, I think we would be better mentors today, wherever we are mentoring. Now, number one is presence. What I mean by presence is complete availability to the mentee needs, mind, heart, body, spirit. It's just to be fully grounded in the here and now. And I think that's what Rumi have said when he said, there is a way between voice and presence, voice of the client, voice of the mentee, voice of the other person, and the client, which is, and the presence, which is you as a mentor. And the other thing is active listening. Now, you should be able, when you're listening, to make a distinction between what are you hearing now? Are you hearing facts, data, or are you hearing feelings, or are you hearing values? Now, only then, if you could make a distinction in the client or the mentee talk in the conversation, and you could make a distinction between these three, then you will be really actively listening. And this is, I think, what Rumi have said when he said, in discipline, silence, it opens. So when we are actively listening, we completely anchor in what the client is saying, what the mentee is saying. And only then, when you listen actively, when you make a distinction between what the client says, you will be able to ask the right question, which comes the third competencies, which is the art of forming and asking the right questions or the powerful question. Now, what the literature said, I'm going to say it in English, then I'm going to say it in Arabic for the Arabic speakers to bring more clarity. The literature said hearts have locks, and the question or the questions are the key to these locks. القلوب أقفال ومفاتيحها السؤال أو كثرة السؤال. Now, I think that's what Rumi is saying. Now, when we ask the question, it has to be provoking questions. It has to be thinking a question. It has to be a question that creates a dialogue. It's not a discussion or a debate. It creates the dialogue. Now, with this question, I think that what Rumi said is, with wandering talks, it closes. So if you're just wandering around, not focusing on one thing, it closes. This information, this pathway of information, it closes. Now, when you hear the response of the client or the mentee, only then you would be able to give a feedback, and that's the fourth competencies of a feedback. Now, what do we mean by feedback here? Is the ability to give the mentee a proper feedback, an honest feedback, which is based on facts and evidence, not an opinion, not in a judgment. It's not about, I think you did great. No, I think it's about presenting evidence, presenting facts to the clients. So let me sum up these four competencies for you. If we could adapt them, I think we would be great mentors today. Presence. When you're present, you'll be able to move to active listening. And then only then you will be able to ask the right question. And then only then, based on the response, you will be given a proper feedback. I hope this was helpful for you. And thank you very much. And kul aam wa antum bkhair. Back to you, Ali.
Thank you, our speaker, Aref. Eid Mubarak to you as well. And round of applause to our speaker.
Thank you.
Now, as I said, I'll be giving a summary of all what we are hearing a little later, a strong reminder to everybody in the audience, please send your questions in the chat room. Okay, I see a few coming, but just a reminder, please do that because it's very hard to get such speakers all together in one forum. So this is your chance to ask them questions about mentoring, coach, life coach, and so on. Now, our next speaker is a good old friend of mine. We joined Toastmasters, I believe, at the same time. And we were in the same club for many years. He's a Toastmaster since 2003, specializes in fine art of speech evaluation, and he has gone through this milestone in a field where it's a nice world filled with evaluating, critical thinking, more like people. Somebody like Stan Lee I can think of Toastmasters, at least in Bahrain. He was the winner in DTech 2012 for evaluations category. In spare time, if he's not speaking or evaluating a speech, he enjoys reading a book or gripping movie. He is Shukri 2, none other than DTM Ahmed Shukri, to speak upon about mentoring in Toastmasters, mentor specification. Over to you, my friend, Ahmed Shukri.
Thank you very much, DTM Ali. Good evening, Eid Mubarak. Thank you very much for joining this nice constellation of speakers and mentors, and I'm honored to join you today. Since we have limited time, I'd like to summarize my speech in a concept and a story. Of course, this journey of over 20 years in Toastmastering and mentoring in Toastmastering have given us a lot of lessons to learn and a lot of actions to be taken. From my experience in Toastmastering since 2003, I've learned so many stages in how to deliver and to administer mentoring for new members as well as old members. To help me deliver this collection of skills and abilities, I'd like to borrow a very famous concept from Bruce Tuckman in formation of teams, and it's called the 4 stages of forming teams. I believe that mentorship in Toastmastering and in speaking in general is teamwork, is building up a long-term relationship between a mentee and a mentor and forming the perfect partnership and teamworkship to create more impact and more effectiveness. In the model, there are 4 stages of forming this relationship. The first one is called forming. This is the first stage where the mentor gets to know the mentee. In Toastmastering, as you all know, it starts with the VP Education informing or announcing that the new member will be under the guidance of such old or senior member. In my life experience, I did not have a good example of this forming stage. The first club I've joined in Bahrain Toastmasters, I was assigned a mentor just because the mentor was not having enough mentee under his wing. So my ice-breaking speech was not a very good experience because the forming stage was not really established under the mutual understanding between the mentor and the mentee. If you think about it, this unique relationship doesn't have any physical reward. There's no money involved. It's all psychological reward between the mentor and the mentee. So if there's no rapport to start with in the forming stage, you're creating a scenario for disaster. So I strongly advise anyone who wants to go into this field to really take care of the forming stage. This is the honeymoon stage of any mentorship relationship in Toastmasters, all in life. So I got to know this person in the forming stage. I tried to do my ice-breaking speech. I tried to call him on his old landline. I could not catch him in his old landline, which took me to the next stage of my teamwork with my mentor. That's the second stage, the storming stage. I tried to do my icebreaker with the mentor. He was not available. When I finally called him before the meeting, he said, look, Ahmed, call me back, I'm busy. Went to the meeting, did my icebreaker. After that, he stood and he said, fellow Toastmasters, I don't think that any new member should do any icebreaker without the approval of the mentor. And I believe that Ahmed did a very wrong thing in this meeting. This actually happened in 2003. And maybe DTM Salman Al Fardan was there, if I'm not mistaken, but the same club. That was the storming stage, my dear friends and fellow Toastmasters. It's where we clash because you're different people with different personalities. This is a complete stranger who's supposed to teach me how to do the fine art of public speaking. In the storming stage, and believe it or not, it happens almost all the time. Maybe the VP education or the director of area or division or even the club president has to be aware of this stage and has to keep a nice track whenever you see this sparkle of fight between newly formed mentor and mentee. The storming stage is a must, and the storming stage is a very critical stage. You can see a lot of new members leaving clubs because of this storming stage. If everything goes well, if everything goes fine, and the mentor and mentee patch out their fight and their stormy relationship, we move on to the third stage, which is norming stage. Norming stage, I believe, is another critical stage where you don't need only mentoring. You also need some coaching. You need to involve a third party to come and mediate between the mentor and mentee and find out their true value and their true ability to patch away and make everything that was in a storming stage to be water under the bridge, so that the new mentee can start again working on his upcoming speeches and discover more speaking skills. In my experience, the norming stage did not happen with a coach because my mentor left the club. So I was left alone. I had to find resources to kind of patch out my very extreme first experience with the club coach. Remember, this is my first speech in a Toastmaster club, my icebreaker. So this is my first ever experience in speaking. So I had no one to really work with me under this turbulent water of the storming stage. I had to reach out and find resources, find books. And what really helped me a lot in this stage is when I was a member of Bahrain Toastmasters Club, we had the chance and opportunity to form another club in my company, Alba Toastmasters. That was the stage when I met fabulous speakers like DTM Mohamed Shukri, Mohamed Isa, DTM Ali, Shahbaz. We were in that beautiful combination of people. They helped me a lot in the norming stage. I realized what was wrong and what was not wrong in the storming stage, and we began patching out any rough areas that needs improvement and learning. This actually was a very nice stage and took us to the last stage in the mentoring relationship, which is performing. And performing is the most rewarding stage of all the 4 stages. I am very proud to be associated with the successes of all the speakers that were in my circle as mentor and mentees. Top of which, of course, is DTM Mohamed Shukri. He gave us the opportunity to work as one team and perform as one team. Remember, Mohamed Shukri was always speaking since he was probably 16 or 14. But in a formal setup, he showed a lot of humility to learn new skills. He gave us the opportunity to mentor him, to coach him, maybe sometime roughly. And I remember so many times in so many meetings, we had to go back to forming, storming, and norming because he left meetings angrily because of the very harsh feedback. So even in our performing stage, we had to go back to forming, storming, and norming. But the performing stage, in our experience, whether me or my other collection of mentors, was a very rewarding one, because this is where you actually see people grow. This is where you see them move from just normal speakers, shy and uncollected, into performers, into star performers. And just look at the speakers today we have, those who are with me in this forum. We have an RA, Regional Director, DTM Ali Shahbaz. Ali Shahbaz was just with me, a fresh new speaker in the club of FCT. And now he's an RA, definitely performing 100%. Dr. Salman, look at him where he is right now. Another member with me in Bahrain Toastmasters. He is now a coaching master in Bahrain. Look at the 2006 fourth best speaker in the world, Toastmaster Muhammad Ali, another fresh speaker back in Alba Toastmasters. Look at the best writing book author, the next speaker, Mohamed Isa, another starting speaker that had to go to form, storm, norm, and perform. This, I believe, is a very rewarding experience. If you are given this chance as a mentor, take it. It's not something you get money out of it, but you get a lot of life experiences, a lot of memories. But be careful and be aware. If you are assigned as a mentor, you have to be aware of these 4 stages, because you will go through them. You will go into the forming, you will go into the storming, you will go into norming and performing. From my experience over 20 years, I could never think of another similar experience. If I have to go back in time and do all of this again, I will probably do the same and even involve more people in this beautiful journey of mentoring in Toastmasters. To end my speech, I'd like to update you on my personal story with my mentor. We finally patched up after 15 years. I tracked him down, talked with him, had some coffee, and we finally finished the storming, norming, and performing. Thank you very much for this opportunity. God bless you all, and back to you, Mr. Moderator.
Thank you, DTM Ahmed Shukri. It was wonderful to hear your experience, mentoring experience, being a mentor and being a mentee both. Now, the next speaker, before I call him, we go back in time as well. Almost the same phase in Bahrain when we joined Toastmasters. We used to compete together in speech contest. We went to the district level together. And I got so fed up of this guy always winning that I gave up on contest and I came in leadership. So he's one of the reasons I just gave up on speech contest. He is an award-winning speaker and a 4-time Amazon best-selling author. That itself is amazing. He was a Toastmaster member in Jeddah, Dubai, and Bahrain. He became a DTM in 2009. He loves adventures. He climbed the Alps and Atlas Mountains. He also jumped from an airplane for his birthday. Woo! Let's hear what he has got to tell us today on the subject on mentoring and coaching. DTM Mohamed Isa.
Thank you, Brother Ali Shahbaz. It's always been a pleasure being associated with you and all the other speakers on this panel. Dr. Salman, thank you so much for giving us this opportunity to reunite us together, virtually at least. Thank you so much. I'd like to start with how I joined Toastmasters. I was in Jeddah. I was assigned in Unilever to work in the headquarters in Jeddah. And I thought, I need to do something over here. I need to utilize my time. And this is what I did. I found Toastmasters. So I went to visit Hope Toastmasters Club. And I enjoyed the meeting. They were speaking, they were laughing, they were clapping. And at the end, they said very good food. I thought, why not join? And that's how I joined Toastmasters. And then as Ali said, I became a member in Dubai, and then ultimately I joined the Bahrain Toastmasters Club in Bahrain. So what can I say about my experience? It's the best decision that I've made in my life. Now, over the years, I had different mentors in the Toastmasters journey. And one of the mentors is Dr. Salman Al Fardan. Dr. Salman Al Fardan did not only mentor me for my Toastmastering journey, he mentored me for my MBA dissertation. And in case you're interested in knowing what did I get out of his mentoring, I got a distinction. Yeah? So mentoring helps a lot. And this forum comes in a very timely fashion for me because I'm working on the book of my life. It's called Jungle Incorporated, where I document my experiences, my life experiences and my career experiences. And I have a few chapters that involved mentoring. I have an uncle, I have a favorite uncle, and the reason I like this uncle is very simple. He used to play volleyball, and since I was the eldest and the tallest boy in the family, I used to get all his t-shirts, all his tracksuits, all the shoes. This is all branded, Adidas and Nike, so I was very lucky to have this uncle. But most importantly, I like the fact he kept his room always open, not locked. So every now and then I would sneak inside, look for some polo or chewing gum. But one time I saw a little career guide, and I was 13 at that time. I looked at the career guide, I flipped through the pages. I wasn't looking at the jobs or the titles or the job description. I was just looking at the salary at that time. And I found this job where there was a salary of 276 dinars. It was the highest salary available at that time. And I looked up, it was the accountant. And I thought, I'll be an accountant, that's it. So I didn't join the science stream in high school. I went to the commerce stream. And there I met my first mentor. His name is Mr. Hassan Ali. He used to be a supervisor in the school. And I went to him. I asked him, can I have a few minutes with you? And he said, yeah, sure. Is there a problem? I said, no, I just want to ask you about what to do after I finish high school. We will do 3 years over here and then we need to move to university. So what do you advise? So what should I do? What kind of major should I go for? And he started sketching on a blank paper about all the options that I could have in my career after graduating from university. And that was very helpful for me. So I went to university, I majored accounting, and then I had another set of mentors. And these mentors were the career counseling staff in the university. I had headed by Nail L'Anes. I like to mention names because I want to give them credit, because these are the mentors who made me who I am today. So Nail L'Anes, he was very helpful. He mentored me on my CV, mentored me on conducting job interviews, and he ultimately provided me with the opportunity to work with Unilever. So all my success in life was attributed to having the right mentors at the right stage of my life. And when I moved to Unilever, Unilever is an established multinational company, and they have their own mentoring process. So when I joined the company, I was assigned a mentor. His name is Anil Mehra. He was the finance director, a very senior executive at the company. And not only that, in Unilever, they took it to the second level or the highest level of mentoring. And I think this is a good idea for the participants to implement. When I joined the company, they gave me a little passport. And on that passport, there was a writing saying, the passport to success. So as a new joiner to this company, I was encouraged to meet with the all senior management members in the company and spend 20 to 30 minutes with them. So yes, as a Toastmaster, you may spend time with a specific mentor, but why don't you take it to the next level? Create your own passport of success. Meet with the different members in your club, in other clubs, in other countries, in other regions. Why not? Now, the technology has made all of this possible. I'd like to mention another Toastmaster in this session, Ahmed L'Alewat. Ahmed L'Alewat, he used to be a member of Aref Toastmasters Club. It's a corporate club. And this incident happened only a few weeks ago. I am about to engage for a major assignment, and part of the assignment involves IT, cybersecurity. So I had two options. I could go either and Google the topic, and Mr. Google will provide me all the resources, all the information, or I'd call someone who's an IT expert and makes my job much easier. So I called Ahmed Al and I briefed him about my situation. Our call lasted for 20 minutes. But in the first 7 minutes, he gave me all what I needed. So sometimes we may not have to reinvent the wheel. The mentor or the coach may know all the information we want, and we need to utilize that relationship. At the end, I'd like to say, get yourself a mentor or a coach. Save yourself time, efforts, and stress. We all have different projects, different challenges in our life, so why not utilize someone to make us achieve our goals faster? Why not? Try it, you will reap all the benefits. We have all seen now how all the other panelists spoke about their different experiences and how the members or how the mentors help them in achieving their goals. So that's all from me. Get yourself a mentor or a coach. It's really worth it. But don't get the mentor Ahmed Shukri got, please. Search for someone else. Thank you. Back to you, Ali.
Thank you, Mohamed Isa. Yes, that's a good suggestion. And round of applause to our champion, Mohamed Isa.
Thank you.
Now, before I forget, I would also acknowledge the presence of our home district director, my home district director, Wafa Salman. And also in the list, we had 100 plus. I just noticed them now. And we also have our District 20 CGD, Alka Kumra. Chairman, can they just say hello to the audience, if that's okay? Dr. Salman? Because
Yes,
Didi Wafa is a coach herself.
Yes, DTM, we can.
We can? Okay.
Yeah, we
Didi
can.
Wafa, maybe
yeah,
just a hello from you, since you are also a coach.
We'll start with the DTM Wafa. Isa, please open the mic for DTM Wafa.
Is she here or she has left?
She is here. I'm trying to unmute.
It's unmute now.
Okay.
She can talk now.
Yeah. Didi Wafa, are you there?
Yes, yes, I
Great.
am.
Great.
How can I miss that? Yes. Good evening, everybody. And what a lovely session from the beginning. I was listening by heart to Mohamed Shukri. And always when I'm listening to everyone, I'll have some notes and take it as a learning lessons. And the good part that I have seen several ideas of mentoring. I will pass it upon to our clubs and members. Good initiative. I enjoyed it, and lesson learned. What I ask for, all these lessons learned, if we can put them in a document And that's what you, Ali, our RA, is great about, the documentation. So we can publish them to all, and whoever did not get the opportunity to listen and take notes, they will take these notes as well. And especially the ICF mentoring. I'm an ICF certified as well, ACC. So I took several notes that added to my journey. Thank you very much, leaders, for a great talk and initiative, and hope to see such initiatives more. And I'm expecting the documentation, DTM Ali. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Didi Wafa. I would pass on the torch to Dr. Salman Fardan. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Yeah.
Dr. Salman Fardan, once a recording is ready or any documentation, please send it to me so I can send it to the district. And our district director herself is a coach, as I was saying. Now let's hear from our CGD, DTM Alka Kumra, still on the.
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you, RA DTM Ali. It's been great listening to all the mentors about that. They've been sharing their experience about mentoring as well as being mentored. Yes, I was highly impressed by all of them, and especially by DTM Aref. He has shared some really good insights into mentoring. And fortunately, I had a very good mentor when I entered Toastmasters, unlike DTM Ahmed. But and that is what actually kept me in Toastmasters for a long time. I had a very great foundation there, which led me to mentor many, many more Toastmasters. I feel we have so much to learn here and so much to give to each other. It's been a great experience listening to all of the wonderful speakers. And yes, it will be great if it can be documented for everyone to learn from it. Thank you for arranging this, RA DTM Ali, and thank you to all the speakers for their wonderful insights. Thank you. Back to you.
You're most welcome, CGD Alka, and I acknowledge all the other district office members. Thanks for joining us, and also from other districts. I see a district PRM here from District 105. Rania is here. I see Head of Arabic, Mona is here, and other district officers. Thank you very much. Now, looking forward for some questions while they are coming in. Just a quick summary of what we have seen overall. We saw the history of Toastmasters coming from Mohamed Shukri, talking about skills and spirit. How can we reach our goals with mentoring, especially the part and mentoring module also in pathways. From Aref, we got to hear more about ICF framework of coaching and mentoring and some amazing traits of a good mentor: empathy, intuition, giving feedback, multi-listening, non-judgmental attitude. And I personally like, because I was at the Bahrain Polytechnic, and we believe in this way of education too. People never learn anything by when they are taught, but let them find out. So this is some method which is being adopted in education industry. There is a difference by listening to feelings or facts, data, emotions. From Ahmed Shukri, we understood how important is mutual understanding between a mentor and a mentee. And he gave his experience from the day when he started his icebreaker and what happened after that. Ahmed Shukri gave a very strong point. If you ever get the opportunity to become a mentor, just take it, because while you're mentoring, you are changing, you're transforming into your best version. From Mohamed Isa, we saw that, we saw a personal story coming in his life journey as a Toastmaster, as a mentor, as a learner, as a seeker himself. I like the idea of create your own passport to success. A very strong ending by Mohamed Isa for today's session was, get yourself a mentor or a coach. Why do you need to invest more time? And I too believe in this. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. if there are people who walk the path and they can help us. Now we are very much ready for the questions. Please keep your questions coming in. The tech team is going to send it to me. And let's get started. Are we ready for the question? Dr. Salman, we go ahead. DTM Musama, good, we're good to go, great.
Please go ahead, DTM.
Wonderful, our chairman. The first question is to Mr. Aref. It is said that 20% of the population have some sort of mental health issues that may need professional help. I'll repeat that. It is said that 20% of the population have some sort of mental health issues that may need professional help. How can we identify if we need professional help as individuals?
I don't know, Ali, as an individual, how are we going to identify that without having the help of somebody probably to give us a hint or to identify for us. But I think once you become self-aware, what is happening with you, you probably have some lead to identify whether you need professional help or not. But if we're talking about in the context of coaching, in ICF, there's a clear path of if somebody needs a professional help or not. There is actually in the code of ethics, we are not supposed to coach somebody who needs that professional help. I don't know if Asif, the study, the 20% that pulled out, that he pulled out, where is it from? But those 20%, if it's proven that they need professional, either by us identifying them, coaches, or they already involve in engagement with a professional, definitely we should not coach them. Now there is furthermore, Ali, on this, we have a form in ICF that if you feel the client that you are coaching needs a professional help, you go ahead and fill this form, take the consent of the person, either you identify some people or ask them to go and seek for professional help. It's very dicey, Ali. Sometimes it's very dicey. Sometimes the client will come to you and say, I am going through a professional help right now, or treatment or therapy. So that's clear. But it's the coach responsibility to see if the client requires some professional help, refer them to professional help. It's always to be better to be safe than being sorry later on.
That's wonderful. That's one perspective which I, as being in leadership for all these years, never looked at. If we have to redirect the person to a professional help, we can do that as their coach. And that's why we are here for. Wonderful insight. Aref, there is another question for you. How do you state facts to your mentee without being insensitive?
I think that's very important question, and like what my colleague Ahmed have shared. He shared something about some people leave clubs and some people leave their mentors because of the harsh feedback. So what we propose, what I can suggest to you here, and how do we present our feedback and to be sensitive about it, is there's something CCL, Center for Creative Leadership, suggests when you give a feedback, you use something called SBI, which is situation, behavior, and impact. And in a nutshell, situation is about time and place. Behavior is about the act of doing or saying. And the impact, how is it impacting me? So let's say, for example, I'm listening to somebody and I'm mentoring them. So I will be specifically saying, when you were showing in your second page, when you were talking about this in the speech. So I have specified the space, the place and the time and pinpoint it to be specific. When you raise your hand like that, that made me feel distracted. So I'm stating the behavior and I'm stating how it impacted me. Ali, when you have welcomed me, when you were a while ago, about an hour ago, when you were reading my bio and you said you have a goosebump, that impacted me in a way where it made me feel impacted and happy. So that's an SPI. So actually, to be insensitive definitely is going to make the mentee run away. What we do, we present the facts specifically, and we also mention how it impacted us because we own them. How does the feedback, or how does the act or the behavior impacted us? We owe them to do that. So that will be safe, Ali. We're not opinionating. We're not saying judgment. We're not saying, I think you were angry. I think you were mad. I think you were happy. No, you're stating the facts. What did they do, or what did they say when you when they were in the act? I think that is the best way that I have found out in my career. And there is a study about this. They have made a study on 232 CEO around the world. When they used this kind of a feedback, the results were magnificent, and nobody could question. Nobody even could question that whether I did this or not, because yes, you have raised your hand, you have banged on the table. So present facts, not opinion and judgment.
That's amazing. Aref, you have a lot more questions coming up, but let me move to another speaker while I come back to you so you can take some rest. Can the mentee accept any mentor? And if mentee not satisfies with his mentor, what he should do? Now, I'm not correcting the grammar here, but let's understand this once again. Can the mentee accept any mentor? And if the mentee is not satisfied with the mentor, what he should do? This question goes to Ahmed Shukri.
Thank you very much, DTM Ali. This is a nice question, actually, and I am obliged to say that I hope that we have this one answer to all. I wish that we have this universal mentors who can act like a Swiss Army knife and find tools for any situation or any type of mentee. In reality, this is not the case. In reality, we see a lot of disagreement in the approach, in the style, in the connection style of people. So I strongly advise that any mentor or any club executive committee be very careful in the assignment of mentors and mentee, because even if the person who is a senior member or the person who spent a lot of time in Toastmastering, this is not the only qualification necessary for the club to assign him as mentor. There are clubs, unfortunately, assigning 10 mentee to a single mentor. It's physically impossible to assign these many people to one person, away from the fact that there might be some personal differences, some ethnic differences. And alhamdulillah, in Toastmasters, we don't have a lot of clashes in terms of these background differences yet. I wish I could find a universal mentor who can accept any mentee, but this is a delicate process that has to be involving the mentee and the mentor. In those cases where the mentee feels uncomfortable or feels, just in my case, I didn't know how to express my discomfort with this assignment of a relationship, I advise all mentees, especially the fresh ones, to really voice their concern at a very early stage and not leave things to fester and becomes more serious. So hopefully, I hope this answer gives you enough insight on how to select mentors. Back to you.
Oh, yes, it does. So going to the next question once again, it is for Ahmed Shukri. To avoid the case you went through with your mentor, which is very, very much valid, do you think the club should define a list of mentors who can be useful to new members? Let me know if you want me to repeat that.
I believe so. I believe this is a very, very good practice. I believe that there are two things we have to think about here. There is one requirement to do with the DCP program of the club, and there's another requirement, the individual requirement of new clubs, of new members. So you know how the process is designed in Toastmasters to slowly, gradually welcome guests and make them attend meetings 3 times until they feel comfortable joining the club. I believe that TM clubs and VP membership should not rush in this stage and just move away from the guest mode into the induction mode of new club members. So in the same way that we allow guests the chance to come again and again and feel comfortable with the atmosphere of the club before becoming members, I believe that we should also allow enough time, enough resources, enough information for the mentee to scout the club members, to really build a rapport even between himself and the senior members, then choose between a list of potential senior members. I know it's a long process. I know sometimes we rush through it to achieve certain DCP point, but look back at the most successful clubs on the island here, whether they were as old as Mama Toastmasters or as successful as corporate clubs or community clubs. You will see that almost all of them are built on the basis of a cluster of strong senior members who became mentors, who allowed others to become members. So please respect the process, allow it time, and you can't rush springtime. Springtime has to come at its own time. So in the springtime, mentor and mentees will find themselves and will blossom like flowers. Back to you, Moderator.
Thank you, Ahmed. I told you he's one Stanley with us, and he comes up with all these creative ideas. There's a message to me by Mohamed Shukri. Ahmed Shukri is 1, not 2. So yes, Ahmed Shukri is 1, probably because he has joined Toastmasters before. I don't know the reason, but this is what Mohamed Shukri wants to say to everybody. Ahmed Shukri is 1. With all the thank you messages coming to me, I won't be able to reply. I will with thank you just in the chat. Thanks a lot. I'll go to the questions. This question goes to Aref, but before that, there is a request from the organizers that there'll be an evaluation form which will be sent out. Please make sure you fill that up. Okay, thanks a lot. This question is it necessary to have a mentor for the 3-year after getting the accreditation? This is for Aref. Maybe you would understand this question better. Is it necessary to have a mentor for the 3-year after getting the accreditation?
Thank you, Ali. I think when Ghassoon asked this question, it has two possibilities. One possibility is after 3 years, do I really need a mentor after my accreditation? I think mentoring is a life journey. For me, you can't live a normal life without having a mentor in your life. So a mentor could be a father figure, could be a brother, could be anybody. So a mentor is really important in coaching. To advance your skill, to advance your credentialing, to move from one level to another, it's always good to have a mentor. If you see the world class of today's coaches, they always in their career have a mentor and a supervisor and a coach. So I would say to Ghassoon, yes, even after 3 years of getting your credentialing, always have a mentor. If you want to really grow, if you want to really be a distinguished coach, a mentor is really important. Ali, do you allow me to answer the previous question? I have something to add.
Oh yeah, please, you may go ahead.
2 years back or 3 years back when I decided to go for my master coaching certificate. So I went for a mentor, which is taught me in my school, like the schools that I studied coaching, I went for that mentor. So I spent 10 hours of mentoring, which is the requirement of ICF, and I was not happy about my mentoring. It was kind of like what Ahmed defined it as kind of a push-pull. and kind of a storming situation. We never reached that norming and performing stage. So I was not satisfied with that. So I changed to another mentor, which is another, of course, when you go for MCC, you go for another MCC, and they're all different nationality. I went for another mentor, and we did not click after the third session, either me or her. So I went to another mentor, which is for 10 hours, and I felt really better. And now I have another mentor. What I'm trying to say, Ali, the mentorship relationship is very important to have that rapport, to have that chemistry, to have that agreement, because there is a lot comes out on the table during the mentoring session. So trust is really important. Reciprocation is really important. The fact that you feel comfortable with the person that you are mentored by or mentee is really, really important. It's a relationship issue. It's not only skills.
Thank you, Aref. You made that very much clear, and I see a lot of audience thanking our speakers today, thanking the organizers, and this shows that our speakers today have been so clear that the questions are even less, and that shows how much they have spoken about with their personal stories already. I would call upon our champ, Mohamed Isa, to speak upon the previous question, and also my personal question to him. In this field where he is a consultant, he's a coach, he's a mentor himself, do you still keep your own passport to success? So you have two questions in front of you.
Thank you, Ali. Thank you so much. I'd like to point out one matter. We have been talking about having mentors and coaches inside Toastmasters and outside Toastmasters. And I second what Aref said. In order to be successful, you have to have mentors and coaches in your life permanently. This is not something optional to have or not to have. You need to have them to accelerate your career, to accelerate your business. And I'd like to share an example, two examples. One is when I was in Unilever, I was always involved in what they call technically as management accounting or financial analysis. When I came to Bahrain, I became a chief financial officer of a company. And at that time, I had to deal with what they call financial accounting. Now, when you are dealing with financial accounting, you have to deal with external auditors. And in all my life, prior to that job, I did not deal with external auditors. And this is where mentors come. I called my previous boss and I told him, look, the auditors are coming in 2 weeks' time. What should I do? And he gave me the tips that I used to manage that relationship. Another thing is we need to keep in mind, I have faced this situation many times. Someone would reach me and they would tell me, I've been thinking about reaching you for the past 3 months, 6 months. I wanted to consult you to be coached or to be mentored by you, but I thought you were so busy. Ladies and gentlemen, just reach out to the people you trust who can help you in your journey becoming more successful. Now, I'd like to bring another name in this conversation today. I told you I like to bring names to give them credit. Those who live in Bahrain, I'm sure you know the public figure Jawad Habib. He's the founder of one of the biggest audit and consulting firms in Bahrain. And he's been my on and off mentor for a long time. Every year, I would go and sit in his office for at least 1 hour, chat, and get more insights from him. So just reach out, don't be shy. Believe me, people are willing to help, and you should get that help. Now, going back to the question of Ali, now I answered your question, I think, indirectly. I still have my passport to success. I still reach out to people, whether in Bahrain or beyond. It's an ongoing process that I will never stop. Thank you so much.
Excellent. So here is where Mohamed Isa shared He gave the answer for both the questions and even more. Now, my personal question and I believe that's the last question for the day. If I'm missing any questions, please have a look, tech team. My personal question to a good friend, Mohamed Ali Shukri. At one point of time, I really thought when we used to be 8 countries, those days competition was giving us that push to make us wait the whole year for the speech contest cycle to begin. And it was crazy that time. And winning in 8 countries for us was like the big thing. When we used to win an area contest, it was as good as winning in DTech those days. And going in front of 8 countries, we all used to be as one team like gladiators out there, discussing nothing but speeches in the flight, at the airport, everywhere. At one point of time, Mohamed Shukri, I felt you will stop contesting. You will just stop your public speaking after going to the convention twice. What makes you keep going still today as a public speaker? Why did you choose this field as a 24/7 for you? Was it the mentors behind it who kept pushing you all the way? Or you just decided you have so much to share to the world after being to the convention? Mohamed Shukri.
Oh, okay. That's a dozen of questions in one. DTM Shahbaz, and the beautiful nostalgia is coming back with your question. I want to start with this quote, which is by Buddha. He is famous to say that when the student is ready, the teacher appears. But there is a continuation for this quote by I don't know who, which says when the student is ready, the teacher appears. When the student is really ready, the teacher disappears. Now you guys have disappeared and I'm seeing you again, so I'm very happy. But it is like all of the before friends and mentors said today. There are stages. And like my mentor Ahmed Shukri said, do not rush the spring. And there are stages. And at those days, it was really a situation where Toastmasters in the Middle East was flourishing like anything. And every year, the winner of the 8 countries was not a local. And since I was the first local to actually qualify for the finals in Washington, D.C., it added really crushing my nerves. And Ahmed Shukri is right. In some of the intense rehearsal sessions, I used to run out of the meeting outside, not to smoke, I don't smoke, but to fume my frustration. Imagine. Those are the days I needed exactly the mentors I had. It was you, DTM Nomel, Ahmed Shukri, and each one helped me in a different stage. It's as if the divine was planning, actually. That's why you see some of your teachers disappear and then another teacher comes. Exactly like what happened to my friend and coach and my mentor in coaching, Aref al Mubarak. So they come in timely, amazing, divinely planning way. So that was the pressure going through. I forgot your question, Ali Shahbaz, but I want to say this. I'm really grateful for all the circumstances and for all the divine hand that brought me together with you. Now, Ahmed Shukri in specific. See, Ahmed Shukri had a bad mentor. Now, the saying goes like this: if you had a bad parent, you either become a bad father later or a better father later, depending on how you take the experience and reflect on it. So Ahmed Shukri actually reflected the good mentor on me right from the beginning. When I entered his office in Alba HR department, and I said, oh, you're my cousin. Oh, I didn't know that. And since that day, my starting journey in the Toastmaster reflected on me. And what you don't know, DTM Ahmed Shukri, is that your mentorship to me has reflected on everyone I've mentored so far, including some of the champions you already know in speaking. So that's how good mentors actually lead by example. And every moment you teach one properly, wholeheartedly, with all the things that Aref al-Mubarak taught us today and everyone else, then you are not creating one person, you're creating a nation of mentors spreading out there. And that's why coaching and mentoring, I'm glad I'm both certified, and I know the degree of importance of both. So that's all. I don't know whether I answered well or not, but that's all from my side.
Thanks, brother. Champ Mohamed Shukri. You don't know, but you answered even more than expected, because the example which you got is really what I was looking for. And different mentors do come in different phases of our life. And if we can mentor somebody, why not? That's also an opportunity which we get to share our experiences. And while mentoring, I personally notice I become a better person also. So thanks. Before we go to the speakers to give that 1 minute summation from every speaker in the order it was started, there is a question which I don't want to ignore, but we will take this as the last question. Someone says, it's a question by Muhammad, Vikaruddin Muhammad. What I understand from Toastmasters mentor will be a long-term relationship, where as a coach will be a short-term goal for specific skills. My question nowadays, there is a chance of spiritual mentor, how to get benefits for the same. So I think this is a common question. Mentor is for long-term, coaches are for short-term, for a specific goal. And the second part of the question is going for virtual mentors. Does that help nowadays, keeping COVID-19 era in our mind? Any of the four speakers, whoever is well-versed with Toastmasters mentor program, can answer this. Anyone? Or maybe since Mohamed Shukri spoke about this Toastmasters mentoring program in the beginning.
Sure.
Yeah, please.
Sure. You see, one of the things we suffer in club meetings is the show up of members. Okay, the show up of members, you know, it's occasional and it's subjective to if the member can actually attend the physical meeting or not. Now, after our club resumed the meetings following COVID-19 lockdown, etc., online, we have witnessed more people attending actually, because they don't have to leave their kids behind, they don't have to have babysitters, etc. And actually some of them is cooking while attending the meeting. So mentoring actually through, and of course there is the gender thing, and you know, let me say we are in a place where we have women and men, and some of them are they are shy, but above that these women want to learn and become effective speakers, but it's not possible to do it always physically, to mentor one-on-one or be there. So now online was a gift, and Corona was a gift that everybody can learn across the two sides of the screen actually. And except one of my clients, which is not Toastmasters, but she insisted that I meet with her in the office, we'll put masks, but she wants physical coaching because she's earning her PhD. And then later she knew that no, online is much better. And actually I want to be among my family doing this, which I am, and some of them are around me. So no, virtual is adding an extra flavor actually and favor. You will miss some of the physical things, because if you're in with one person or with 10 persons in one room, that's added nervousness, which you need actually, but it's still there in the Zoom meeting, and you can see this. I am nervous talking to all of you, for example. Back to you.
Thank you, Mohammed. However, there's still one part of the question. Maybe Mohamed Isa, you want to answer this? The thin line between mentor and a coach, long-term and short-term.
Mentorship is a more of a long-term relationship, where a coach is
where I can go and see my network, who can help me with what. That's what I do personally. So a mentor will be someone that I will be with for a long time. A coach, I can have different coaches. Look at the athletes. If you look at Roger Federer, for example, he has a dietitian, he has a fitness coach, he has a mobility coach, he has a, I don't know what coach. He has so much money, he can afford so many coaches. So it really depends on the situation you're in.
Thanks, Mohamed Isa. These were some good points coming from the audience and from the speakers. We can not sum it all due to time, but one of the speakers did say it's a voluntary organization, and we don't get paid for becoming a coach, a mentor, and that's the beauty here. When we don't get paid for something, we are just doing it for serving everybody around us. And this is really what changes us. There is a comment for Mohamed Isa from Noreen. I agree and fully support what you said, that mentor makes the journey faster and more professional. Without a mentor, we are lost. I have a personal experience. So that's a message to you, Mohammed. Now let's get started with 1 minute summation from Mohamed Shukri.
Okay, so this is the last day in Ramadan, and I want to quote our Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, which he said, there are two categories of people. If these two categories are good, the rest of people will be good. These two categories are leaders and scholars. In those terms, scholars means teachers, of course. صنفان إذا صلح الناس صلح الناس. So now in Toastmasters, we have leaders and teachers, quote unquote, mentors. So if these two people are good and do their job well, the rest of the members, the rest of the students, the rest of the community, and the rest of the people will be good. So anything we do is an example. I'm glad in Toastmasters, as well as in the coaching federation, there are very hard lines of ethics and bylaws, etc. But again, it's up to you to become a good mentor, because you will create a lot of champions, a lot of other mentors, and a lot of leaders. Leaders create leaders, by the way, and not followers. And back to you.
Thank you, Speaker Mohamed Shukri. I'm getting multiple messages on the chat and on WhatsApp, but we cannot take all the comments because of lack of time. But most of them are thank you notes. Thank you very much, audience, for being here. Let's hear from summation from our next speaker, Aref Al-Mubarak.
Ali, I would say as a bottom line is get a mentor and get a mentee. Don't worry about the capability. Prophet Isa, ala nabiyyina wa alayhi salam, have said, and I quote this of what he said, God seeks your availability, not your capability. So don't worry about how capable you will be to mentor somebody. Just be available for somebody, and it pays forward. If you get mentored today, tomorrow you will mentor. Use the coaching skills to bring more depth to the conversation. Have the mentee to build their own narrative, not your own narrative. Have them to form your own thinking style. Have them teach them through mentoring by asking them coaching questions, how to do thinking process and create their own narrative, not somebody else's narrative.
Thank you. So we have final words of wisdom coming from our speakers. And I just feel like we just started the event instead of ending. I feel like we have a reverse meeting here.
Indeed.
Indeed, yes. So let's hear the summation from our third speaker, Ahmed Shukri.
Thank you very much, DTM Ali Shahbaz. I will borrow the word you described me with as Stan Lee. Stan Lee is the founding father of many superheroes. And Stan Lee says, many superheroes don't wear a cape or a costume. We believe that as Toastmasters, as speakers, we have an obligation, heavenly obligation to use this power, the power of words. Like the 2015 world champion, Mohamed Gahtani, words have power. It is not just a privilege, a choice. It is an obligation for anyone with the gift, with the super gift of working with words to help others, to reach out and help others. And trust me, whether it was 5 years or 10 years or 20 years, whether it was painful, you had to go through storming or norming, this superpower, this word of the power of words will come back to you in your journey, and you will leave your fingerprints on people's lives, on people's relationships. And I cannot put a price tag on that. I am humbled and grateful for all of those people who gave me the chance to become their superheroes. And I would like for them to become superheroes for their families, for friends, and for fellow Toastmasters. Back to you, DTM Ali Shahbaz.
Wow, that's amazing. I'm getting extra inspired here. And one point of information for the audience: all the 4 speakers you have seen here, at least 3 of them I've been knowing since almost 17 years, start of my Toastmasters journey. I can say they walk their talk, and that's why just few lines can inspire the audience. And that's the effect. And I'm sure Aref has his own bag of experiences where he's coming from being a certified coach. So let's hear the summation from the last speaker, Mohamed Isa.
Thank you, Ali, and thanks for all the attendees who are still with us. I'd like to offer a challenge to everyone who's involved now in this call or in this conference. And since I spoke a little bit shorter than the time allotted to me, I will take that opportunity to make it up in this now. Around 4 months ago, I was exchanging WhatsApp messages with someone most of you know, Mohammed Al-Hussein from Saudi Arabia. He's an author of a few books, and the exchange was like this. He sent us a message saying that with the grace of God, his book, How to Become Darfur, this is a word that they use in Saudi, basically how to become excellent in your studies, has been a bestseller in Jarir bookstore for 4 years. And I sent him this message, mashallah, this is great to hear. I ask you this question, and I ask this question to myself all the time. Is this the best book you have? Is this the best book you'll be known for? In my speech, I talked about the book Jungle Incorporated. And in this book, if I don't write any other book, I want to finish writing this book. In this book, I'll give it all away. Everything that I know, I'll give it away in that book. So my message to everyone, or the challenge to everyone, is start writing, document your experiences, give it all away. Whether it's Toastmastering or non-Toastmastering, just give it away, all of it. That's the challenge to you. Start writing, be it social media posts, be it blogs, be it videos on YouTube. Just don't keep it to yourself. You can change lives around you, and you can change lives that you are never aware of. Thank you, DTM Ali, back to you.
Thank you, Mohamed Isa. And he had to end it with another inspiring message to all of us. We don't know when we document things and we circulate them for whatever intention it may be. But somebody out there will get attached to those words, those books, and we can change someone's life, because Toastmasters, we are together for 2 hours. But if somebody is going to buy your book or gets hand on your book, your message, it's there forever. And there are people out there who are looking for these words to get inspired. Now, thanks a lot to all our 4 speakers. You deserve a heavy round of applause. Before I call the chairman, let me tell how all this started. He gave me a call Dr. Salman Al Fardan, probably 2 weeks back from now. And he told me, can you just give me 1 hour of your busy schedule? I told him, well, this is what they say in the region, in Middle East or Africa. Can you just give me few hours? And then this few hours it becomes like 12 hours of my day already. It's like today when I started at 9 a.m., I'm not going to finish till probably midnight, the schedule of calls which we have. But then when I heard the topic, he's going to arrange a seminar or an event about mentoring. This is where we can change lives. And the speakers who he has been mentioning, I was like, this is going to be amazing. For people from around the world who have joined us, and I can see the attendance dropping, but I'm sure most of them were here till the last speaker spoke. So there's a lot of messages, inspiration people are going to carry outside. My message to all of you as region advisor is, at least if we apply 5% minimum of what we have heard today, we are getting there. We don't need to change overnight, but let us get started somewhere from this wonderful segment and getting 4 speakers who are certified coach, champions in the district, out of Toastmasters, and so much of accomplishment in life. It was hard to get them all and present them in front of you. This job was not easy, and I'm sure this deserves a high performance leadership project, which was taken by Dr. Salman Al Fardan, a person I know from a very long time, always positive. I don't understand what makes this guy angry. I'm still waiting for the day when he tells me something negative, but he doesn't, with all the life experiences he has. And he's a person I look up to for his patience and giving those positive feedback always, whether it's food, spiritualism, religion, Toastmasters, we always have our own share of talk. I enjoyed being here as your moderator for the day. Dr. Salman Fardan, the floor is yours now. Your mic is off.
Thank you, DTM Ali. Thank you for conducting this meeting. Thank you for all 4 leaders to join us. I hope you have enjoyed the meeting. For me personally, I have learned a lot from the Arabic version and the English version. The most important thing I have learned from this session is that it's good to be a mentor and to be a mentee, because you will learn, each one will learn from each other. It's not only the mentor goes one way down, it goes both sides. It means that even if you're a mentor, you can learn from the mentees. And this is what happened to me when I have joined the Toastmaster, and they have assigned Dr. Salman as my mentor. And now I'm a mentor of others, and the process is still going on. Thank you very much, Toastmaster excuse me, Mohamed Ali Shukri. I really appreciate what you have done. Thank you, Mr. Aref and Mubarak. It was very constructive and informative session. We have learned a lot from you. Thank you, Toastmaster DTM Ahmed Shukri. And it's nothing to do with that you are cousin of Mohamed Shukri, but we enjoyed your session. And thanks for Mr. Mohamed Isa. In fact, I would like to thank him twice. Number 1, because of his very constructive session. Number 2, he did not talk about the hair. Thank you very much. You saved my neck. Now, I would like to hand the control to Toastmaster Salman for the vote of thanks or recognition time. Toastmaster Salman. Toastmaster Salman. While Toastmaster Salman is trying to join, I would like to give a special thanks to my team who supported me in this mission. It was a really difficult mission. Without the support of each one of you, the team, we could not have this project now. We have 4 We have 4 members in the team. The first one is Toastmaster Isa, who really support us in the administrative. Oh, nice. It's my picture. I like it. Toastmaster Isa is, Toastmaster Isa Aman, our secretary, and he was really a big supportive, very energetic person, and he managed to document everything and help us in these sessions. Many thanks to Toastmaster Amina Majid. She is a public relation and she was in charge of the, if you see my picture in the Instagram, a beautiful picture because of her, not because of my picture, my photo. And Toastmaster Fawzi Mahdi, IT person. Anything happened here during the session and there was any default, it's his fault. It's not my fault. Thank you very much for this. And last, Toastmaster Mohsen, our education leader. He did a great job in communicating with the speakers, liaising for the meeting. In fact, all of them, they were one hand. And I'm really proud to work with you, all the team. Thank you very much again. And I hope Dr. Salman or Toastmaster Salman is ready now.
I am here, yes. So
Fantastic.
can we combine my talk with the certificate so we do 2 in 1?
Please.
Okay. I am overwhelmed. I spent 23 years in Toastmastering, 10 years in coaching, and I think I'm still a child in these 2 professions. Listening to all the experts talking here, from my mentors, which are all of them, from Aref to Ali Shahbaz. Actually, there is a lot into Toastmastering and coaching. And this forum has only unpeeled or uncovered some of the areas. This just, something has happened here in my stomach. We need to do more of this, bring more of these experts onto the forums. Let them talk to people so people are aware of the situation. I'm really grateful and thankful to all of you, speakers, friends, brothers. I mean, there are a lot of names I can give to you because you've come into my life through different parts of my life in different roles. I think the subject has been covered. The audience must have seen what I've spoken about when I say to them, wait and see. And I would ask this question to them, have you seen what I said? We brought you here, the best of the Toastmaster, and there is more of the best available, inshallah, in the coming forum. I've heard a voice somewhere that request my brother Ali Shahbaz to comment. It is part of the project, so now I am proposing something. I'm proposing to document things with Ali Shahbaz to take it to districts and other places in the Toastmaster as part of the project. Have you said yes, Ali? See disappear? So that's part of the project, inshallah. Now, as a word of appreciation, we are going to present the certificates to our speakers. Are they ready? Okay. The first goes to our professional moderator, Ali Shahbaz, for managing beautifully this forum. A round of applause for Ali Shahbaz. Yes.
Thank you.
The next goes to Mohamed Ali Shukri, a prominent speaker, not only in the Toastmaster, but around the region. The next goes to our master coach, well-known master coach in the Gulf and the region and internationally, Aref Mubarak. Ahmed Shukri, the most competent Toastmaster. I have seen him in evaluation, in mentoring, in speaking, in running the club, and even in his first project. I admired him. A word of thanks for Ahmed Shukri. And the last one goes to Mohamed Isa, the speaker, the 3D speakers. So he's not speaking like us directly in one direction, he's speaking in 3 directions. A word of thanks and clap for Mohamed Isa. There's one thing I don't want to forget here. What you've seen is the action team, but I have 6 people who are really guiding this project. They are well known in Toastmastering. Okay. Okay, they are telling me we'll go to guiding committee, then our team. Okay. A guiding committee which consists of DTM Dr. Thuraya Juma, Thuraya Abdullah, some people call her, DTM Zulfikar Ali, DTM Sayyid Abbas Alawi, DTM Muhsin Al-Habash, DTM Khalifa Ahmed, and Toastmaster. And if you remember her, a champion in 2003, Noreen Haji. These 6 people were guiding this project, and they are continuing to be with me until I finish all the papers. Let me just go specialize with our team. Our team leader, I'll tell you about this team. And this is the decision I've taken when I've taken this project. We want self-managed team. And if you look at their name in the project, you will find L in front of them. They are all leaders, led by our team leader, Osama Jabri, well known in the Toastmaster. We've got leader Isa Aman, who is our secretary. Mahsen Al-Asbul, he is our leadership, our leader education. Fawzi Al-Mahdi is the Inform Tech. He's the leader of information technology. And have I forgotten a name in here? Okay. Leader Amira Majid, our public relation. So you've got all the talent here, Ali, to really recruit for your district. Before we end this meeting, okay, I see Gaurav here. Is he going to give any humorous speech? Before we end this meeting, there are a lot of effort being put into this. I've only really put the names of the people who are directly involved, including yourself, speakers and moderators. But everyone I met for the last 2 months was giving me a hand or a help to do something, including your PR, Ammar, okay, on the branding. They all have contributed to the success of the project and the forums. May God bless you. Blessed Ramadan, Eid Mubarak, and happy moments for you and the families. Back to you, Osama.
Thank you, TM Salman Al Fardan. It was very constructive speech, and for our function, how do you ask questions? It's an art in addition to the science. Thank you very much for this. Thank you for all people who attended the meeting, joined us in this. I hope you find it very fruitful and informative. And I promise personally that we are coming back with the new things in the Toastmaster. Thank you all. Happy Eid. Wish you all the luck. Enjoy the Eid with your family. And thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Ali.
Thanks. Thank you.
Can we ask the speaker to stay with us, please? And the moderator as well.
Yeah.